G'day guys, welcome to Rumble's Fish Room. So yes, this is my 2 weeks break. Again, we're back. But I'm just a sucker for YouTube really. The baby sleeps a lot, so I'm getting bored. You guys know I can't sit still. I just can't do it. I've been jumping on the computer on the driving simulator, kind of getting a bit bored of that. Dog can stay out. I'm gonna shut this because it's crazy windy. Kind of getting bored of the driving simulator. I'm kind of at the point where I need to grind hard to improve, but like I'm basically good enough to drift solo, but I'm not good enough to tandem. If you play, you'll know what I mean by that. But so let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about what happened. So I told you in, I don't know whether it'll be yesterday's video, the day before that. I'm filming this 2 days later, but I only uploaded yesterday. It'll probably be 2 days after, because I'm not going to upload every day. Filming's not the problem. I don't I enjoy filming. It's the editing that's a pain in the ass. So like, as in like, I want to have a break from YouTube. It's pretty much just I want to have a break from editing, not from filming. So shit has changed dramatically since yesterday's video, which was actually the day before for me. But we sold a fish, we gave away a fish, we got given fish, and we kept fish that were in the video that you just saw. So let's have a look at the waterfall rack for a start. Now I'm meant to be selling this rack, but I got 0 bites on it, and it's got fish in it now, so I probably won't pursue selling it, but I'm probably gonna have to use my magical measurement skills and figure out how I can fit the 2-foot tanks in. But obviously you guys know all of these tanks I don't want to be running over winter, but we're just coming into summer, so I might keep the waterfall tank for summer and then try sell it next winter. We'll see. I'm not taking the ads down. If somebody offers me cash, I'll take it. But anyway, let's have a look at what fish are in the rack. It's not what you would expect. Alright, so I'm going to tell you what they are too as well, because yesterday I sort of said they're not my fish, but I wasn't clear. I didn't really I didn't know what was happening with the fish that I picked up from the airport. Basically, me and my friend Zach, we work together. I give him fish, he gives me fish. Money doesn't exchange hands, and so that's why I didn't really want to talk about it. I know you guys don't really care about the cash side, but I grew out a load of fish for him. We made a small profit on that. We went 50-50, and then that small profit bought these fish. So that's why I said they weren't my fish in yesterday's video, because I didn't know what he wanted to take and what he wanted to leave. But that's a long-winded way of saying these fish are here. All right, so this is a classic camphor. So like F1, Viha, cross, flower horn. So basically what this means, I've got no use for the Viha that are in my fish room anymore. I don't know whether I'll think about selling them or not. There's a really nice Synspillum in there, so I might try and source a partner for that and try to breed pure Synspillum, but who knows, that's off topic. So this boy is staying here and we're growing him up. There's a reasonably low rate of fertility for male F1 classic canthers, so not holding the breath on this guy. Grow him out, try breed him, see what happens. He's just on the back burner. I'm not 100% sure on picking traits for classic camphor. These are the first time I've ever had them in my fish room. Things like, I can't remember what, Zach did explain it to me. The shape of his face is slightly different to like my other flower horns, and that seems to be a trait. You can see how he's got that shorter face. He doesn't actually really look like a flower horn. And then the big trailing square fins. If you look, you're not going to be able to see it. See how that guy's tail comes down to like a pointy center, whereas this guy's tail squares out and down and then out. That's the sort of traits they're looking for to get from this fish. So then I showed you that one. That was my personal push present, even though I didn't push. So he's got a few different bloodlines in him. I might use him to breed, I might not. I definitely won't sell him, because you think about that. That was given to me as a present for having a baby. He might even go in the house yet. I don't know. That guy will have a little bit of sentimental value to me. And then we've got this guy. So basically, this is a F1 Classic Camphor. It also came from Draco. I'm not sure if it's similar parents to the little one that I just showed you, but if you look at this guy, he looks different to any fish that you would have ever seen in my fish room. And I don't really think there's anything that looks like him in Australia, to be honest. So like, you can see obviously the flower horn in him. He's got that pearling and that bit of a script, but look at the jaw on him. His jaw is awesome. Like, he's got that monkey-like jaw, way different to anything. And then look at the square fins, how they come out and then wrap around. One thing I've really noticed on him, can you see like that little triangle bit on the top of the back fin? What's the fin called? I can't remember. You guys know I'm useless at technical terms, but anyway, see how square the back of his body is. He is something special, that's for sure. And this guy's going to get huge. He's still growing. He's just on the cusp of 2 years old, I think. And the thing with anything that's F1 from Viha, they don't breed until they're 2 years old. So I'm probably not going to try him for another 3 months or something. I've got a girl for him. It's basically a fish that I was thinking about culling, and with him, he's so aggressive. I'm not going to use a premium girl to try and breed him. It has to be. She's not low grade, but she's not perfect. I'll show you the girl in a couple of minutes once we go into the fish room, and then Zach actually left the girl that was down here. So that girl, did I show you guys her in my hand or not? I can't remember. She was in yesterday's video. So she's staying with me. I'm going to try and breed her, maybe. Not 100% sure yet. The fact here is I've got a lot more space than Zach, so I don't mind growing fish out for him to take later. So he took the other girl and he took a boy, and you guys know which boy it is. I'll show you what's missing. Alright guys, so you'll notice that Richard's up there. So Zach's talked me into trying to breed Richard. He pointed out something really interesting. Now, my friend Zach, he's been, if you don't know him personally, I'm not going to say full names or anything, but if you know who I'm talking about, you know. He's been breeding flower horns for 12 years or something. So, and also he's seen the full history of these bloodlines, like the vampire, not the full history, but he knows quite far back, like 10 years plus. So he managed to point out like which traits are from the Australian vampire, and he actually pointed out a couple of traits that came from Charles, which is my overseas boy. So he said that these trailing fins, they came from the overseas line, whereas I was under the impression this was almost identical to a vampire. But so those trailing fins, not very common for vampire. I can't remember what else he said. Sorry guys, I'm a bit sleep deprived at the moment. I think the cock position is further back than the vampires, which comes from the boy Charles. So if you don't know what boy's missing, it's actually the pearly F1 boy. He kind of looked similar to this guy, but more mature, bigger cock. Less yellow in the face. He was actually up here for ages. If you scroll back on the videos, you can spot him. I don't think he had a name. And you'll notice that the Thai silk from that corner there is up there. So that's short body. F2 from Charles. Look at, he's got like almost identical shape to Charles. He's just a silk, not super red dragon. I've thought about breeding him for a while, and somebody is interested in purchasing him, but not necessary, but basically said to me he's not ready straight away, and he would rather risk me breeding it and the chance of a loss than me lose out on something I wanted to do because I'm holding it for him, which that's great. I generally don't do holds anyway, but when it's a subscriber and I know it's somebody who's been watching the channel for a while, I take them a bit more seriously when it comes to holds, because I've never really had a medium to long-term subscriber hold something and bail out on me. But anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying I'm going to try and breed him. So he might be sold, but at the moment he's not pending, if that makes sense. I think this boy here is definitely still pending. Worst case, I think he'll take at least the one. And I've actually got, even if he still did want a silk, I've got this boy up here. The only problem is he wouldn't be groomed if I sold him. He's going to be just as nice, just not as short a body. And one thing, my friend Zach said, take this female out here. He's really impressed by her. I am too, but oh no, maybe it was that girl there. I struggle to pick the girls when they're in a community tank because they're not isolated. So this is the Synspilum I'd like to breed. Maybe one day. I gave a mate a few of these Viha and he would give any back at the drop of a hat. So if there was actually, there's 3 different mixes of Viha in here. If there was actually a nice, I think that's a Synspilum there. You can tell the difference, see how that doesn't have any barring there, whereas the other 2 bloodlines have like the black belts coming through them. But the Synspilum seem to be less dominant than the crosses, because the crosses seem to survive and the Synspilums were getting smashed off by the bigger crosses. Anyway, we'll get back to the point. What was the point? Oh yeah, so you'll notice the fat boy is gone. So somebody came to pick up this boy here. I said $180 and he was like kind of interested. The problem with fish here is they don't pop because of the housing situation, and people just think it'll stay like that if they put him alone. So what happens is people come in and they're generally interested in my breeding males because they've got more space, they're next to a girl and they flare up. So basically, if anybody doesn't know, I had the fat boy male. I wasn't overly keen on him from a breeding perspective, but he was starting to turn into a really nice fish. I don't even know if I've got a photo of him. I haven't taken a photo of him for ages, but I'll leave it at that. You guys will, if you scroll back on videos, you'll be able to find him. But basically, the guy offered me a cash price that I couldn't refuse. Like literally, I didn't even think about it. I just said yes straight away. There's multiple reasons. So obviously, space is a factor. All my tanks are full. I've got flower horns that are starting to get to select size and nowhere to select them. Point number 2, I've wanted to breed this boy, and the person that was buying it told me to breed it instead of him buying it when he knew I wanted to. So then I needed the fat boy out of there. So it was like, do I swap them around? And then I got a really good cash offer on him, so I was like, see ya, out the door. As a display fish, that fat boy will actually probably be nicer than any of these fish here, but like from a breeding perspective, I've got fry from him, so bloodline lives on. I've also got the fat boy female there. She's a little bit worse for wear. She's only just started eating again. She's a bit sick. So I've still got the bloodline. The only disappointment here is that they were F2, and it would have been nice to do an F3 fat boy batch. I'm pretty sure somebody else in Australia will be doing an F3 fat boy batch, if not already has. So I don't think there's a line lost, if that makes sense. But yeah, that was the only struggle for me selling him, was not being able to do the F3 of that pure line. So yeah, I sold that boy and then I gave that boy to Zach. So we've got fresh boys in both tanks. This girl later a few days ago by herself. The pair, they were no dice. They were aggressive. That boy there held his own against my KZZ, who's quite aggressive. So the reason I gave that one to Zach is because the classic Camphor that he took, as soon as she gets a little bit of size, she's going to be quite aggressive. So the male was well paired. He was actually an F1 from Charles. So like, if you've been watching the channel that long, he's one of the original flower horns I bred. Oh no, sorry, I bred a couple of vampires cross King Pearl, but my third batch, which was my first batch introducing overseas bloodlines, that's where he came from. And he was actually, I don't know, some of you might know this, some of you might not, he was actually an F1 runt in this tank here, kind of like that guy there is still an F1, and I don't cull if I don't have to. Like basically my what you call culls, I was throwing them straight into this tank. The VHAR were eating them, but obviously there's still quite a few survivors in there. And the reason I pulled him out and tried him with her is because he was the smallest male that I had that was old enough to breed. So like, he was a runt, but he had the age on him to breed, and it did work. But now we're moving on. So Zach's got that fish, and I really hope it works for him. As the thing about Camphor flower horns, you can't do it by yourself. So at the moment, looks like we've got a team of 3 people, and hopefully we can get the flower horns cranking in Australia. At the moment, I've only really noticed around Australia people trying to breed Camphor flower horns with Camphor flower horns, but that doesn't necessarily create Camphor fry. You need classic Camphor, which is what the ones out there are, to cross back to Camphor, and that's why it's such a rare thing to have true Camphors anywhere in the world, and why they're so expensive even in Thailand. It's because you can't just cross the two to get the result. You've got to back cross VHAR back into them. It's a really complicated setup. So I've got to label these tanks. Drop a comment, guys. What do you reckon I should do? I own a label maker, but I hate trying to get the labels off. So I either use a label maker, or I get I think they're called like a wet white whiteboard marker, or wet white permanent marker. Drop a comment below if you know what I'm talking about. I think Jesse from Hooked on Fish suggested it once, but I've never seen one, so I'll have to suss that out, because the problem I'm getting here is I've got so many different batches that I'm going to start forgetting. So I'm going to state it in this video for my own personal preference. So this guy here, he is F3 Red Magma. Now that it's F3, I don't know whether to call it Red Magma Cross or whether to call it Red Magma. That's kind of something I've got to ask my friend Zach. Or do I call it my own name now? So this guy is actually a spitting image so far of the one that I gave to Zach. So I'm definitely breeding a line, if that makes sense. There's definitely, the F3 are showing that worm / dotty pearls, and it's becoming more prominent. So I can see that I'm creating something that that's my personal preference. So like, see that full pearling on the face? I always look for that, and now it's coming up in heaps of my fry. The only thing is, so far he likes red, but he's way too small to be judging the red. And then this boy here is gone behind the filter. He's actually Magma cross the short body gold base that I had, the gold base fader that went to Jaden. So, and then it gets way more complicated. So then I've got KZZ cross Magma in those two, which is that girl there, and then I've got that one there is KZZ fader cross Fat Boy. I think Fat Boy. That's another thing. See, I've already got to go back in my videos to remember who the parents of that batch there is. And then that batch there is Fat Boy cross Magma. I don't have high hopes for that batch. One of my friends did that same cross that I've done in this batch here. That was the accidental batch that was in that tank that's not actually meant to be for breeding. So what was my point here? That batch there, I've got low expectations. And then that's the rest of the red magma cross gold base fader male that was in there. So that's pretty much all culls now, if you look at it. I'm pretty sure that's a female, and it just looks shit. It looks like a shit fish. This one here might be worth growing out and see whether it fills out, but I think it's a girl by the looks of that fish there looks like a girl, but the way it's dominating around makes me think it's a boy. This batch here, they're eating each other. I've pulled quite a few out. That batch was only like 30 fish, and I've pulled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 30. So my cull rate is usually about 90%, so that's way higher than my cull rate. In saying that, there's a guy here, he's a cull. Oh, he might not be. He looks better on camera than he does in person. He's the sort of fish that look like shit when they're young, and then they fill out and turn into a wicked fish. I can't remember which one. I'm trying to remember what Zach said, but I should have got it on video. And then these three here are F3 red magma, and then that's a F2 red magma. So that's another silk that I could really sell. And then this fat boy girl, I don't know what to do with her. What do you reckon, guys? That's like the longest I've talked in a week. I feel like I'm losing my voice. So I'm super excited to try breed this short body silk. He's also light blue, not like that dark blue. The lighter the blue, the better. Ideally, I would like to breed that silk down there, but he's got the perfect colouring, but I don't trust his health history to breed him. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting future for the fish room. We've got so many ingredients here. If there's one thing you could take from this video, I don't need to buy more flower horns. I've got so many bloodlines and so many ingredients to make some really great fish. The good thing about that is if I'm breeding and not buying fish, I can pass that money savings on to selling the fish. When I was selling the F1 batches, I was asking like 500 to 600 for the premium fish, but I had spent like 5 times that on the parents, so like I've recouped my costs now, and I'm breeding with my own fish. It definitely will make a difference for how much I can sell the fish for. I've just got to think about running costs, and also one thing that will depend on the price is once I set those 2-foot tanks up, it's going to increase my power bill. So in theory, if I'm selling more because I'm selecting more, I shouldn't have to raise any prices. But it's been good. Like, I've been able to sell boys for like between 170 and 300, and I like that price. I know some of you that might still sound like a fucking crazy price, but the boys I'm selling for 300, I was selling them for 600 to break even. Now I'm selling for 300 and making small profits, so I'm definitely winning. And the Africans, they're just there. I give them to the fish stores, and I give them to friends for free and all that sort of jazz. I don't really try to even advertise the Africans. I should do a bit more on them, I know, but it's hard to focus on every species at once. Sometimes the Africans will be on the back burner, and then other times the flower horns will be on the back burner. If you remember, if you watch the channel like 18 months ago, maybe a bit longer, the flower horns weren't breeding for me. I was waiting for fry to grow up. I had no adults, so my main focus was the Africans. And then so like now we've got heavy batches of flower horns. Maybe in 12 months or 6 months from now, the channel might be heavy African again. We'll see. I'd like it to be heavy koi pond. At the end of the day, that is my favourite. It's more of a favourite thing, more of a relaxing thing than the fish room. I love it. I want to get some new koi. Maybe I should. I got the cash in my pocket from that fat boy flower horn. I should just fucking bite the bullet and go get a couple more fish. Are we still zoomed in, guys? No. Maybe we were, maybe we weren't. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap that video up there. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe for more, hit that little red button. Oh, just quickly, I do want to apologise to the members. I'm sure you guys will understand. Monday was like 2 days after my baby was born. I think it's the one time I have an exception for not uploading a members video. But we might go live Friday. We'll see what happens. But anyway, guys, peace out.